Hi, this is Kishore and welcome to Kishorelytics. Today we are diving into something exciting in the world of data. So sit back and relax. Let's get into the video. First, we want to know about the data warehousing. What is meant by data warehousing? Let's first analyze the data about data warehousing. A subject-oriented and integrated, a time-variant and non-volatile collection of the data in support of management decision-making process. First, we want to extract the data and transform the data, and we want to load it into the database. In the extraction methods, we are using the full extraction, and extraction types, we are using the full extraction. And in the extraction techniques, we are using the file parsing. And in the transformation, we are using the data enrichment and data integration, derivative columns, and normalized data normalization. And we are using to analyze the business rules and logics. And finally, we have data aggregations. In the data aggregations and in the load method, we are using the batch processing, and in the load methods, we are using the full load. Okay, let's deep dive into it. In this video, we are using the database as Microsoft SQL Server. So let's connect it into this. I have already written the query so I have written it in the notepad. Let's dive into it. First, we want to create the database. Let's go to the database and get and file and new file. Okay. Sorry. Connect. Let's give connect once more, and it's get connecting. In the data architecture, there are 4 types: data warehouse and data lake and data lakehouse and data mesh. In this video, we are concentrating on data warehouse and we are concentrating on Medallion architecture. In the Medallion architecture, there are 3 steps. First, we want to build the bronze layer and the silver layer and the gold layer. First, we want to get into the Microsoft SQL Server. So make sure it is in the master. Then we have to create the database schemas. So get back into it. I already written the code. I just copy it and paste it here. Yes, and let's give exit. Yes, it's completed successfully. In this code, we are using the use master database. If exists, I have already created the database warehouse. So if database is already exists, we want to delete the database and we want to drop the database and we have to create the new database. So create database data warehouse. So use database, and we are going to build 3 more layers. First, we want to build the bronze layer and the silver layer and the gold layer. So we want to create this. So in this video, we have to create schema bronze and create bronze and create silver and create gold. In the middle, we are giving the go, so it executes successfully. Okay, fine. And let's deep dive into it. And we are building the schemas. Yes, we are building successfully the schemas, and we want to create the tables for the rows. Yes, so I have already written the query. I just copying it and paste it here. Yes, and first let's deep dive into it. This we are creating a table for the bronze, and the naming convention we are used is first we want to use the bronze layer name, and we are using the CRM custom info, the file name. So in the file info, we are there are 6 more columns: CST ID and CST key and CST first name and CST last name and CST marital status and CST gender and CST create date. And in the first, we have to create the table for it. If the table already exists in the database, first let's create the same for 5 more tables. In this table, we are creating the product info, and we are in this table we are creating the sales details, and for ERP system we are creating the CID and country, and in the create table for customer info and product category. And let's execute this, and we are compiled successfully. And we want to load the data into this, so I am copying it here. First I will try to explain the line by line so you can able to understand carefully. Let's paste it here. We are just created the schemas and table structure for the tables. In the tables we are nothing loaded. So in this part we are loading the data into it. So first we are inserting the bulk insert. If you want to insert in the line by line, it may take much time. So we are bulk inserting from the data, and it is in the location. It is in the location from this in my PC. It is in the location. So okay, we are bulk inserting the bronze card customer info table from in this location with first row is equal to 2. That means in the first row we are there is a header. We want to continue it in the second row. So we are giving the first row is equal to 2, and the field terminator, and it is in the comma separator values. It is CSV file. So we have to specify the delimiter for it. So the field delimiter is the comma. So it if we give this, it will load it into the table, and same as it is. If it is already exist in the table, we have to delete the table, and we want to insert it newly first. And we want to, if we know, first we are creating same for all other tables. See, we are inserting the bulk insert for product info table, and it is in the location, and we are giving the same. For third table we are inserting the bulk insert for customer details, and fourth we are inserting the bulk insert for ERP. In the ERP system we are customer category, and in the fifth table we are inserting the bronze locally system. Okay, and we are in the sixth table we are inserting the, now the tables are loaded with the data. Let me execute last, and we are trying to execute with the loading seconds. In how many seconds the data are loaded, we want to know itself. It may take some time, so we are getting there. Set start is equal to time. It get date is a function. It gets time and date. So we are initialize the variable and set it start date time is equal to get date, and set end time is equal to end time is equal to get date, the same. And we are printing that if the already the data in the table is already exists, so we have to print truncate the table. Truncate, so do you know what is meant by truncate? We are deleting the columns and data only, but the table remains constant. Okay, so we are truncate the table before inserting the data, and just I am printing truncating the tables bronze info, and we have to print inserting to the table, and we have to calculate the time and local duration. We have to, the duration between the start time and the dead time is the millisecond. So we have to calculate. Just I am printing it, and date diff of we want the second of start date and end date, and let's make a difference between them. So we are using the date diff, and we do not directly implicit in the print function, so we are casting it as varchar. So we are casting it as varchar, the same for all other tables. Let me try to execute. Yes, and these tables are and executing successfully. And now we want to execute is, we are storing it as stored procedure, and when we execute this statement, it executes the output really. So We have to execute the bronze load layer. First, we are executing the store procedure and we are storing it the store procedure. Let me try to implement it in the store procedure. Yes, it was completed and commands completed successfully, and we want to execute the same name store procedure. And yes, we are getting the output. In this layer, we are loading the bronze layer and loading the CRM tables. When we execute this, the statement, we are getting the output. Yes, we are loading the bronze layer and we are loading the CRM tables and truncating. If the data already is in the table, we are truncating the table and inserting into the bronze layer customer info. And there 18,493 rows are affected, and the load duration for inserting the columns in the table is 1 second. And similar to the other tables. Yes, are you able to understand? I think I will explain it quickly and fastly. Yes, let's. Now we have completed the bronze layer. Yes, the same. What is meant by the bronze layer? At the beginning of the video, I itself I at the beginning of the video, I itself I said we want to extract the data and we want to load it into the database. In the silver layer only, we are transforming the data using the multiple transformation methods. So let's get into the silver layer, and I have already code for the silver layer. Same. We want to create the DDL statements. Let's press Control N. Let's Control plus V. Let's execute this. Yes, and okay, fine. Yes, it's showing the error. So let's remove it from all other tables. It's nothing. Done. Okay. Okay, fine. Yes. When you execute this, yes, just now we are creating the tables for the silver layer, and note the columns and data are included in this layer. So first we want to transform it, and then we are trying to load the data. In the loaded data, we are get something new. There are various techniques we are using in this silver layer. In the silver layer, we are using the data integration and data manipulation and data normalization and data enrichment, and we are trying to apply the business rules in this layer. So stay tuned, and we are creating this silver layer. So we have used this all the statements we have created, and I have already coded in the desktop. Let me try to minimize this. Okay. Yes, Ruby. Now I'm going to explain this. Okay, fine. First, we are creating a procedure. Let's talk about it later. First, we want to truncate if the tables contains already data, and we are inserting. Let's talk about it later. First, we want to select the customer ID and customer tree. In this table, let's see in the yes. Let's want to know about the data. So we are executing this. Okay. And the first table name is bronze info. We are executing. Select star from bronze info. We try to execute this. See, we have the name, and we have the customer ID, customer key, and customer first name and customer last name, and the marital status, and the CST gender. It means gender. When it's M, it's a male, and F, it's a female. And when it comes to CST marital status, when it's M, it's married, and S, it is single. And CST is the creating the account date from the user. Let me try to understand quickly the data. Yes, we are inserting the table, select CST ID, we are CST key, and we are trimming the CST first name. There are in front of the M, we have some more spaces, so we are trim the CST first name, and we have to display it as aliases as CST first name. And in the CST first name, we are using the we are normalize the data. So when it comes to giving to the gold layer, we want to give the pure data, and user we want to apply the data. And in many cases, let's first try. Let's write case when upper of trim of CS or marital status. First we are converting into the we are trimming the data, and we are converting into the upper case. In the data there are many nulls and many, what I'm going to say, many lowercase letters. First we are trimming the data and we are uppercasing the data. When it is equal to yes, then it is a single. When it is M, then it's married. Else we want to not available. And this is the this is the method we are normalizing the data. The same for CST gender. In the gender table, we are gender column, we are trimming the data and we are uppercasing the table. And if it is a female, then if it is a F, then it's a female, and when it's the M, then it's male. And creating this as CST gender domain. And first we want to creating a row number, so we can avoid the null. In this data there are many nulls I have experienced in the data, so we are creating the subquery from it. We are creating a row number, and it is the window function over partition by, we are partition by the customer ID, and we are creating by, we are sequenced by order date, create date, and it is the last descending order where CST ID is not null. So this comes from null where flag is equal to 1. Select, we are selecting the most recent record from the customer. Okay, and as the same we are set, we want to know the time duration for the loading in the data. So we are creating the set start time equal to get date, and same as set end date time is equal to get date. And we are case the date, we are finding the difference between the start date and end date, and we are inserting into it the silver layer. Inserting into the silver layer, we are to silver CST ID, CST key, CST first name, and CST last name, and CST marital status, CST gender, and CST create date. We are inserting into it. If the table already consists of the data, we are truncating the table and we have to inserting into it. Okay, same for another table. In the second table, we are in the products table. There are many huge lists. First, we are creating the product, select product ID, and the product ID we are extracting the category ID. So in the category ID, it is useful for joining the tables in the CST log 101 table. So we are creating the table, and we are creating the substring of the product ID where it's from the first and fifth day, start length from starting from 1 and indexing from last index as 5, and we are creating as substring, and it is named as category ID. And so for we are extracting the product ID, and it's for product category table, so it's not null. Same for gender, we are casting as when upper of trim of product line is equal to M, we are then mountain, it's R, it's road, yes, other cells, and T touring, else NA. We are same doing for do it for product start date. The same, we are creating the roll number, and we have to get the name. In this table, we are creating this date. Y means calculate the end date as 1 day before the next day start date. What I am going to tell now. If we are creating, there are so many nulls in the value, so we use the window function as lead. It gives the previous start date, and we are assigning it as date. and we are we inserting into the data and truncate. If it is already exceeds the table, we are truncating it, and same we are doing for all other tables. And let me try to execute the query. Yes, it's compiled successfully, and let me try to execute the subquery, and we are storing it as a stored procedure. So we want to execute this, and instead of bronze layer, copying it this and keep it into this. And when we try to execute, first we want to try to execute that procedure. So we want to try to execute. Yes, it's compiled successfully. Okay. Yes. Successfully. We are inserting the table, loading silver layer, we are loading the CRN tables, truncating the tables, and 18,484 rows are affected, and load duration is 0 seconds. And finally, we are getting into the most interesting layer I have liked. I like this layer very much. And in this layer is going to the business persons, and they are analyzing the data and whatever it is. And this is the layer we are creating the bold layer. First we want to name, first we want to join the tables, and we have to give the analysis name, so the user can easily understand. When we give the data to another developer, first they are to know what the table and what the data contains. So we are name, say, as the previous layer itself, we are creating the data integration, data normalization. They have done many more, and in this layer we are just giving the analyze and joining the table, and we have to select the table and the customer ID, CST ID as analysis name as customer ID, and the CST key as the customer number, and the CST first name as the first name, and CST last name as the last name, and century, sorry, it's the country, and when we CNTRY as in the country, and CST marital status as marital status. And we want to CRM is the primary source for the gender, so fall back into, it doesn't fall back into the ERP system. So we are casting into case when CST gender is equal to none, then we have to get it from the CR system. And CA birth date, it's coming from the ERP local LOC and A01 table, and we are left joining. So we want the all null values, including the null values. They are, if we join the intent join, it may get the output as the output the matching columns only. So we are using the left join, and we are from silver customer info table, we are joining the customer AZ table, and the common name and primary key are used as CST customer key and the CA ID. And we are using the silver ERP, and we are also joining the silver ERP local A101 table on basis of CST key and CID table. And we have to create another table for products, and in the product table we are using the pn.product ID as product ID, and product key as product number, product number as product name, sorry, it means the product name. Okay, and category ID as a category ID, and cat, it means the category, and subcat is a subcategory, and we are naming this so far so the another developer can easily understand the data. So we have to maintenance and the product cost as cost, and product line as product line, and we have to get it the product start date. Okay, from the, it's coming from the product info table, and we are left joining it, and from the ERP product category table on the basis of the PN category ID is equal to PAC.ID, and where we want to ignore filter of the historical data. We want the currently available data. So we are creating this, and we are creating the view for it. In the previous layers, we are creating the tables. We are previously creating the tables only. In this layer only, we are creating the views, and the objective is that creating the view for the gold layer. And we have to create the sales table, and we are creating the sales as order number as order number, product key as product key, and customer key as customer key, and sales order date as order date, sales ship date as shipping date, and due date as say SLS, or due date as due date, and sales as sales amount, and sales quantity as quantity, and sales price as price. From the CR, it's coming from the CRM sales details table, and we are left joining it in on the basis of dime products table, and we are joining the tables on the basis of the category as product key and the product number. And we have to join the another more tables as the gold.dist customer ID table. We are joining it on the basis of the customer ID and customer sales.customer ID and customer ID table. When we are you try to execute this table, if the table already exists, we have to drop the table. We have to create the table. Okay. Create view. When we execute this, the command successfully, and when we try to execute this only, executing, it's already exists. Yes. Try to execute this. Yes, it's completed successfully. And now we are going deep diving into this. Let's see the finally summary of this video. And in the bronze layer, we have get the raw data and unprocessed data as it's from the source, and we have to traceability, and we have to debug the data, and we have created a table as object type as date, and we have used the full load, and we have no transformation in the data, and we have no data modeling. And the target audience for that bronze layer is the data engineer. And in the silver layer, we are clean the data, and we have to standardize the data. It is intermediate layer. So in this layer, we are creating the tables. So, and we are using the load method as full method, and in this full load, we are using the truncate and insert method, where we are using the data transformation as data cleaning and data standardization and data normalization and derived columns and data enrichments. And there is no data modeling in this layer. And the target audience for the layer is data analysis and data engineer. And in the gold layer, and I like most this layer, and the definition of the layer is that we want to business ready data. We want to give the data to the business so the business can develop. The objective of the gold layer is that we want to provide the data to be consumed for reporting and analytics, and we are creating the views for the report, and there is no load method, and we are using the data transformation as data integration and some basic and advanced data aggregations method, where we are using the window functions like lag, row number, or participant rate, and we are using the star schema and aggregated objects and flat tables as data modeling, and the target audience for these business users. And we are coming to the final tech of the video. In this video, we are build the data warehouse where there consists of 3 layers: bronze layer, and silver layer, and gold layer, where we have done successfully. So if you find this video useful, please like it, and thank you. Let's meet into another video.